Disclaimer: this video contains spoilers. The intro is from the Doctor's perspective. When you start the game, a cutscene plays. In this cutscene, a character talks about how people look at them like they are the ones responsible for the disease spreading in Darkwood. They also elaborate on how they have nowhere to hide and they have nowhere to run because the woods have closed off the outside world. The character speaking in this cutscene is most likely the Doctor, since he is obsessed with leaving the forest and doesn't believe anyone can be cured of this disease. Janek's face. In the same intro cutscene, the Doctor says he sees hatred and fear in their eyes. Right after that, someone's face shows up on screen for a couple seconds and then disappears. We never see that face ever again. This is what I assume to be Janek's face, because Janek is a character that you only interact with in the prologue, and he's never spoken to or shown in any other picture. The Doctor's notepad. After you wake up from said cutscene, you can find the notepad on the table which has pages missing. Said pages can be found throughout the game and will always be written by the Doctor himself if it shares the same logo at the bottom. Forest Photo 1. A photo can be found on the chair in the second room during the prologue. The inscription on said photo reads 12/06/85, which is likely the date. This photo shows what appears to be a savage. Old Zenith camera. On the same chair, you can find a camera that belongs to the Doctor. Since we don't see anyone else in the game own the camera, and this game is set in what I believe to be 1983, it can be safe to assume that most pictures in the game are taken with this camera by the Doctor. Cages. When you click on the cages in the Doctor's house, he says, "Cages. This time they're empty." You can assume that these cages were for humans, considering their size and the fact that the Doctor is holding Janek hostage in his house. This plague has been going for less than 20 years. Once we exit the Doctor's house, we find that his dog is hurt, but still breathing. Because of this, it's likely that the disease in Darkwood has been going on for less than 20 years. This also correlates with the date on the Forest Photo 1 and the date scribbled on the papers next to the radio. Unconscious man. In the prologue, the Doctor finds an unconscious man who turns out to be the protagonist. Not much is known about the Darkwood protagonist, but the Doctor finds the unconscious man holding a big metal key. Somehow the Doctor knows that if there is an exit out of the woods, this key will surely open it. It is unknown why this is the first assumption the Doctor makes, especially when the cutscene starts soon after you grab the big metal key with a 21 on it, and the first thing he says in this cutscene is, "He's unconscious. I've never seen him around here before." The easiest explanation for this is when the Doctor says, since he managed to get in here, he must know how to get out. The Doctor is responsible for the plague. When the Doctor brings back the unconscious man to his house, he begins to inject syringes into him with random fluids. And considering he most likely keeps humans in cages, on top of having Janek locked in the other room, it is assumed by most people that he was the one who created this disease that turns people into savages. Which is also supported by the fact that Janek begins to attack you as soon as you let him free. Later in the game, it's hard to believe that the Doctor is responsible for everything, and we will explain why lower down the iceberg. The syringe. Throughout the game, the Darkwood protagonist injects themselves with a syringe filled with a similar liquid to the one that the Doctor injects him with in the prologue. This process gives the protagonist special skills, but it is unknown why this happens and if the Doctor is the cause or if the protagonist did this on his own before. I sometimes hear her voice. In the prologue, the Doctor says one of the most ominous things in the entirety of the game. Quote unquote, "I sometimes hear her voice. She's calling me to return home." The Doctor also made a different comment earlier when we interacted with the radio, which was, quote unquote, "The radio has been silent for years, although sometimes I think I can hear voices through the static." This is strange because from this point forward, the protagonist always hears a voice through what sounds like a radio in different locations. The protagonist is mute. During the prologue, the Doctor tortures and brutally beats the protagonist while they are tied to a chair as a method of questioning. However, the protagonist doesn't answer the Doctor when he asks where the exit is. Most people, including the Doctor, assume this is just the Darkwood protagonist refusing to answer. However, we never see the Darkwood protagonist speak. They only show pictures and objects to other characters. Hallucinations. As soon as you start playing as the protagonist, you experience his hallucinations. The first of many is when you step out of the room you were trapped in and see the Doctor. No matter what, the Doctor will disappear and all the lights will turn off as soon as you step forward. It is unknown why the protagonist has so many hallucinations. One of the most obvious reasons is that he is infected with a disease turning people into savages, which is supported by the fact that he is mute, and you will understand why later down the iceberg. A second explanation for the hallucinations could be the syringe injections that the Doctor gave him and that the protagonist uses on himself to unlock new skills. Janek and the Plastic Chick. The final part of the prologue level in the Darkwood Iceberg is Janek's Plastic Chicken. This plastic chick marks anyone who is a part of Janek's family, so if you find someone with it, you will know they are a sibling of Janek. It is unknown if Janek made these plastic chickens himself. Thank you for listening to Liezar's Lore. If this video gets more than 19 likes, I will make another edition of the Darkwood Iceberg.